Doodaloo, doodaloo, doodaloo.
Doodaloo.
Your fucking hair, man.
Did say it was mental. That's why I was wearing my hat.
Didn't realize you were coming here cosplaying as Guy Fieri. With the real Slim Shady, please stand up. We're gonna have a problem here.
I think he's too old to be as angry as he is.
Old people are old.
Old people are angry.
Old people are old, correct?
Old people are old.
Less reason to be angry now, though, because he's achieved everything he wanted to achieve.
Exactly. He's got like a perfect family. He's got all the money you can ask for.
Yeah.
He doesn't take drugs and doesn't drink anymore, so he's got nothing to be miserable about.
A lot of his songs now talk about how good he is. He has upped his game. He's definitely a better rapper than he used to be in terms of speed and technicality.
To go on Music Magpie as the only place on the internet, of a decent price, that was selling the Blair Witch Project 2. Because I bought the box set on Blu-ray of 1 and Blair Witch, but nowhere online other than Amazon was selling Blair Witch 2, and they were selling it for like $29.99 or something. I was like,
fuck off, it's on DVD.
Yeah.
99p, so I was like, that's better.
Was that Book of Shadows?
Yeah. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was
I did just buy the Skywalker Saga.
Oh, okay.
It's in. I bought it in town actually. It's 18 discs, 18 discs of Blu-rays.
The 4K one that comes with like loads more. It's like 24 discs.
Yeah, no, that was overkill. Yeah, but I don't have a 4K player.
No, but you have a 4K TV.
Yeah, but I don't have a 4K
How the
player.
fuck would he play it?
Buy one.
I mean, if you go for the new Xbox or the new PlayStation, then by all means you'll have a 4K player, so that'll work.
You can actually see the difference, which is a weird thing for me, because normally, like, the difference between DVD and Blu-ray is, like, negligible in some films.
Yep.
Like, I think especially stuff
like
like... Well, like, I've got... The only one I saw a marked difference in was Night of the Living Dead, because I bought that on DVD, and the contrast was so shit, because it's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
But the credits were white, so you just couldn't read them. I bought that one on Blu-ray, and immediately it was better. And I was like, well, this is the only time that Blu-rays really come in handy. Andy Black's album.
Okay.
Is it the Ghost of Ohio?
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to it, by the way, it's really cool.
I actually really like his voice. I didn't really like him in BBB, but I actually don't mind his voice, so...
He's got a good voice. I think I wasn't into BVB when I first heard them, but I heard a few songs and I was like, that singer's really good, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then he obviously started doing solo stuff, and I checked it out, and it's not like BVB. It's like a little bit more light.
Yeah.
It's a little bit softer.
More melodic and stuff, isn't it? So.
Yeah, and it suits him a lot better. Nick, you look like a hairy thumb.
Oh my god, that's the best description.
I watched Bad Boys for Life. That was good.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, definitely worth it. I'm surprised that they called it that, though, and didn't wait for the 4th film.
More like Too Fast, Too Furious kind of thing.
Yeah.
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 Or Fate and the Furious, or whatever it was called.
Fast 5.
Yeah, that one made perfect sense, obviously.
Like the fucking Rambo movies. The Rambo movies have one of the worst numbering systems I've ever seen in my life.
What you mean, Rambo First Blood?
No, because the first one's not even called Rambo. It's First Blood. And then the second one is Rambo, First Blood Part 2. And then it's Rambo 3. And then it's just Rambo.
Yep, and then Rambo Final Blood.
Yeah. It's like the dumbest numbering system I've ever seen in my life. Like, I can't even blame Sylvester Stallone, because you had Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
They just numbered them like normal people would. And then Rocky Balboa.
They basically done an Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox X. Sure.
Yeah.
This is why I'm a PlayStation man.
Yeah, it's so much fucking easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, job done.
Yeah. Until like number 6 comes out, but it's not really number 6. It's like
5.6. 5.6. There you go. That'll be all right.
Still got a 6 in it.
Yeah.
The only problem I ever had with PlayStation is they always do that thing where it's PlayStation 1, then PS1, PlayStation 2, PS2. Like when they refine the technology and make them a little bit smaller and like slimmer. So there's always like a second generation in the same generation.
I don't think that was official though. I think it's still the PlayStation, but it's just a nickname. Like, because when the slim ones come out, it's just like PlayStation 2 Slim.
Yeah, I guess. I think it always just...
PlayStation 1 still. I don't know about the PS3 and 4 because I never saw
PS4
them.
Slim, and then
Yeah.
PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
That's
I think
it,
I think I've got the Slim because you had the you had the PS3, didn't you? You had the PlayStation 3 and then the PS3 because they brought the slightly slimmer one out.
Yeah.
Which is what I've got in the other room, but I've got a PS4. But I just got addicted to She-Ra.
Fair.
If you've never watched She-Ra, watch She-Ra. It's fucking great.
The old one or the new one?
New one, the one on Netflix. I started watching it on Tuesday, and they released the last season today.
It's the release of the new Scooby-Doo movie, you know.
Oh, Scoob.
Scoob.
Yeah, it's got a Token on the soundtrack.
Is it?
Oh, what?
You know Token?
Token.
Right, not what I thought you said. Cool, that's fine. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
it's...
I
No,
thought we were going
Token's...
down racist routes then. I was like, fucking hell. This is a new low for us. Jesus.
To be fair, when was the last time you saw like an actual black character in Scooby-Doo? Like, is there any other sort of minority in Scooby-Doo? Like, they're always like background characters or like special guests.
Yeah, that's
There's no mainstream like African American characters in Scooby-Doo.
No, that is true. There isn't.
Scooby-Doo's brown.
Token's like an underground rapper, like an independent rapper.
Okay.
He's done songs with like Tech Nine and stuff.
That makes
Like-
a lot more sense.
Yeah. But just like he posted online the other day that his new song, I think it's called Homies, is on the Scoop
I also
soundtrack.
watched Extraction, which is the Chris Hemsworth one on Netflix.
Is that any
I
good?
haven't seen that yet.
It's not bad. I mean, it's very action-packed from beginning to end, and it's
Mm.
very violent, but I mean, it's not anything you haven't already seen. Like, there's a million horror films, a million action films exactly the same that have
Yeah.
done the same job, so...
I always have a problem with Netflix films because they're never good. Like,
There
they're
was
always-
that one with oh fuck, Deadpool.
Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds.
Reynolds.
Yeah, that
Is
was
that
good.
is that the one where he like
Six
leads a
Underground.
team?
Yeah,
600
That was
grand.
good.
That was pretty good, yeah.
Weird because they pump out so many films consistently that there are times I don't even realize I'm watching a Netflix film. Like The Irishman.
Mhm.
Like I kept seeing that advertised everywhere as like new Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah, it's the
And
one
then-
that ran for an Oscar, Nick. This
Yeah.
year's Oscars.
yeah. I know what it. I just haven't watched it.
Oh, okay.
I heard
Yeah.
it was like 3.5 hours long, and I was like,
It is.
the last time I tried to
Yeah.
watch 3.5 hour long film was either Scarface or The Godfather, and they were both shit.
Number one, never badmouth Godfather. Number two,
Godfather's shit.
Godfather
Godfather's-
shit.
it's not. The first Godfather's a stone cold classic.
I
Well, you're both wrong, but
I mean-
still. The thing is, like, they're remaking Scarface was the other thing I was going to say. Doing
Al
the same thing.
Pacino with that special stuff that they used in Irishman to make them look younger, probably.
I bet he'll probably cameo in it. I'm willing to bet.
Yeah, probably. It'd probably be his son or something, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like the character would be the character's son, and he'll be there. I'm still here.
Yeah, that's
I imagine
exactly what he sounds like.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping they just throw a spanner in the works and get like some little Japanese kid or something. That's it. Fuck it. You'll do.
Well, this is the thing.
Al Pacino still plays his dad.
Exactly.
The thing is, they cast Al Pacino in that movie, but if memory serves, like the main character's supposed to be like Puerto Rican, or he's not white, but Al Pacino plays him, and I think he's Italian American. Well, it's not
Okay.
old Hollywood, is it? It's still current Hollywood because you had Scarlett Johansson playing the Major in Ghost in the Shell. The problem is, like progression's a good thing and all, but there's still like actors who get hired for roles that they just shouldn't have. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like weird casting decisions and stuff. I know they were talking about making Little Mermaid a black woman, but it's like, when people talked about making Idris Elba Bond,
Mhm.
Yeah, they
and
should.
they absolutely should. There was like a massive uproar about it, and I never understood why. Like, it doesn't make sense to me because it's like if the dude can play Bond, then let him play Bond. Like, I watched him in Hobbs and Shaw. Yeah, this dude could play Bond.
Like everyone wanted Donald Glover to play Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But now they're going against Idris Elba as James Bond. It makes no sense.
Well, I think the thing with Donald Glover is that he's like
That's not
he's a well-known like Spider-Man fan, I think people, because it was just before the Amazing Spider-Man came out, so it was before that reboot with Andrew Garfield. But they talked about doing that reboot, and then they were like, well, you know, why don't we make it completely different and make Spider-Man a black character and make this different and that different?
Yeah.
But that's the problem with like old Hollywood, as you were saying, is that they're afraid of change like that. Looking at like focus groups and like numbers, and they're going like, well, the other Spider-Man with that other white dude did really well, so we're hiring another
But did it?
white dude. Tobey Maguire.
The first one did.
Well, the Spider-Man 1 and 2, the Sam Raimi ones, were huge successes.
Yeah.
The third one, not so much.
He was forced to make a film that he really didn't want to make. He had to include villains that he didn't want to include.
Yeah,
there
because
was
I think
way too many in that film.
I think the original villains were like Lizard and Vulture.
Yeah, he didn't want to put Venom in it, and then they made some half-assed shit version of Venom. So,
but the unfortunate thing about that good Venom film is that it's cut all of the Spider-Man stuff out. Like the whole premise. Yeah, but the whole premise of Venom as a character is that he's connected to Spider-Man.
Yeah, but it could build to something. Now, like Marvel and Sony have got that. Exactly.
Well, that was a big theory that was going around before Endgame came out. There was going to be like a big epic battle scene in it. And because they hadn't introduced mutants yet, I think there was this whole thing where it was going to be like, you know, the timeline, because everyone figured out time travel was going to be in it. And some people figured the timeline would be changed and then the mutants would appear. Not theory, but people wanted like Hugh Jackman to appear in it. To be like, oh, look, Wolverine is finally fighting alongside Iron Man and stuff like that.
I don't think anyone could play Wolverine now. Anyone else?
Well, that's the thing they've been talking about. What was it, Scott Eastwood? Clint Eastwood's son? Yeah, because I think he has that kind of gruff look to him that they were like, oh, that's the kind of guy. Because Tom Hardy was the original one everyone kept saying they wanted. But he's now Venom.
yeah.
So now there's a whole sort of contention of who are we going to get to play this iconic character. Henry Cavill was in talks at one point, or he was like one of the theories that everyone wanted. Chip Brickdick.
Oh, Bill and Ted's coming out.
I'd love for that to be a crossover with the John Wick universe. Like they accidentally changed the timeline or something, and they come back and like just one of them's a fucking assassin.
I'm really disappointed that there's not going to be any Keanu Reeves Day next year now. The original plan was to have The Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 released on the same day. It's going to be the greatest day ever known to man. But they've had to postpone the making of John Wick because of the fucking virus. Like they've done most of The Matrix, so it'll be done in time. But yeah, they can't do John Wick as well.
Matrix 4. I'm looking forward to Matrix 4. I'm not usually, like when it's a sequel that comes out like years after the last one, I'm always a bit skeptical. The only one that's really sold me on it so far is Blade Runner, because I love the original Blade Runner, and then I watched 2049 and I was like, yeah, this is good. Not as good as the original Blade. It's the new Pirates coming out.
Oh, I'm not interested, because it's not got Johnny in it anymore, so I'm not bothered.
It's got Karen Gillan apparently.
I don't give a flying fuck.
It's not got Johnny Depp, so I don't care. I heard the other day that they, the reason they won't fire Amber Heard from Aquaman 2 is because they gave Johnny Depp the opportunity to live out his career by doing Fantastic Beasts, and obviously Warner Brothers do that as well. So they're like, we can't really prejudice against Amber Heard because we gave Johnny Depp the opportunity as well. I'm like, it's different though, because it was all hearsay with Johnny, and yet we've got the evidence that proves it with.
Oh, fucking love it.
It's like we were saying about focus groups and stuff, though. They just don't want to pick a side. Because they'll pick a side like Disney did with James Gunn.
Yeah.
But then it shows you how strict Warner Brothers are, because he got fired from Disney and then just immediately fucked off to Warner Brothers to do Suicide Squad.
Mate. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they were like,
hey, if they want to have you, we will. We're scumbags, whatever.
They're not going to fire anybody because they're just taking talent. Plus, like, the DC universe is such a fucking landscape of disaster that, like, it's such a fucking dumpster fire of a fucking film franchise that, like, their single best movie, like, the highest grossing movie they've done was Aquaman. And now it's, like, one of the big stars that's attached to it. They're like, we should fire her. And everyone's like, Warner Brothers go, no, that's the only DC movie that did well. Like, we're holding on to that as tight as we can. Yeah, Wonder Woman done alright, but it done so well that the sequel fucking trailer came out and Chris Pine is back. That tells you how bad Warner Brothers are. They killed him off. It's fucking character development for that character. Warner Brothers are so piss poor at making movies they're just kind of like, well, yeah, we're not going to fire anybody, and we're going to bring all the elements back from the other one. Like, even, like, the DC Universe is a perfect example. They jumped straight into, right, death of Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the fucking second movie that Superman was ever in their universe, they killed him. And then they did Justice League, and we're like, oh, well, fuck, we better bring him back then. He's been dead a year. They're so desperate to make that universe work. Like, did you see the video of Ezra Miller choking that fan? Everyone was like, well, we should fire him. He's clearly just, like, choking that bitch. Like, there's no real excuse for it. And, like, Warner Brothers were just like,
we didn't see it. Sorry.
so desperate to make it work that they're just keeping toxic people in it.
Ezra Miller because of the Fantastic Beasts movies. But, I mean, I'd quite happy to get rid of him and give Grant Gustin the job in a heartbeat. They've done what Marvel did and just literally used the TV universe in the films.
They would have had a better fan base for it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you build it up, like, you know, you had Arrow. If you then made your first DC movie, Arrow, already fans of that show who would then flock to go see that in a movie.
To keep doing the epic crossovers as well, like the Crisis stuff, they wouldn't need to do that. They could have just made it an actual full-length film with, like, Batman and Superman. They could bring all them in as well if they wanted to. But
they've done, because the way that the last one, like, they're all in the same universe now.
Mm-hmm.
So now they could do whatever the fuck they wanted with them and have crossovers every week if they wanted to. They could have Supergirl cameo in the Flash and all sorts of stuff back and forth.
Yep.
And it's like, that's yeah, but it's the one department that DC are thriving in. Because
we're about to get a new DC show from next week as well.
Which one? Is that the
Stargirl?
Yeah, because it's the Justice Society of America. It's like the older characters. I just started watching season 2 of Titans, actually.
I got really fucking excited that I was going to send you both a link for a news article that I came across, and it was that AMC had picked up Swamp Thing, and
oh, sweet.
I smashed myself. I was like, oh my fucking god, this is incredible. All it is that they're a network that's showing it around the world. Only the first episodes. They're not renewing it. I was like,
it might get renewed though if it gets good ratings.
I'd love it to be renewed. It was literally one of the coolest TV shows.
I actually really liked Constantine.
It does the voices for in the animated films as well.
It's the far superior DC universe. If anybody ever wants to watch a DC universe, watch the animated movies. They're all good. Like, there's not a bad one amongst them. There are some that are better than others, but like, there's not any of them that I could go, well, that's bad. The one that I could be closest to saying wasn't very good was Killing Joke. And I only say that because they tacked on like the first like 40 minutes of it. Just created their own like Batgirl story that didn't make any sense. It was just to give you context for Batgirl in the later bit. The Killing Joke isn't a very long story. So they were like, oh, well, we need to do something else to make it feature length. I think DC should focus on either not bothering to make their films a universe and just make them standalone movies. But that's what they used to do, because you had Christopher Reeve's Superman, and you had Michael Keaton's Batman.
Yeah.
Like, they were just really good movies, but they didn't have to tie into each other. They're so desperate to be Marvel now, and it's a waste of time. It's like you've got the connected TV universe. Use that.
I've just looked up films that are coming out.
Yeah.
And there's a new Purge film coming. It's called The Forever Purge.
First one was good, the rest are crap.
First Purge was alright. I actually quite enjoyed that one.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Oh, as in,
actually...
No. The one that's called The First Purge.
One came out first, the best one.
Right, no, that's just called The Purge.
Yeah.
And then there was the Purge,
that was my favourite.
Anarchy,
Yeah, there's election year.
and then The First Purge.
Even worse.
And now it's The Forever Purge.
It's like Xbox all over again.
This is just that they want to put fucking names on them, but instead of just being Purge 3, they're like Purge election year.
Why has everyone got shit against numbers all of a sudden? Because Hollywood's like,
Well, we don't like numbers.
It's not even all of a sudden, it's just all the fucking time.
They did the same with the Paranormal Activity films. It was like 1, 2, 3,
This shit
4,
as well.
and then it was
Is it Ghost Dimension?
Ghost Dimension. And all
Marked
sorts. I'm like,
ones.
why would you change it? Yeah, marked ones as well. Like, just
Yeah.
call it. It's like 6 and 7. Why are you changing these things?
It makes sense if it's a
Kind of.
spin-off. It's like a sub name. So it's in the Paranormal Activity world, but it's different people. It's like Paranormal Activity, the Fallen Ones, like Marked or whatever they're called, right? They keep failing at the fucking numbering thing. Because The Purge is a great example. Could have even just thrown the number in. They could have said The Purge, and then The Purge 2, you know, Anarchy or whatever it is, The Purge 3, you know, but they didn't. It was just The Purge, like, colon, this. And it's an attempt to sound cool. Fuck did that even come from?
You
He's
probably
just
don't want to know.
It's just been there the whole time.
Check out below. We're on Instagram. We're on Reddit. Already on Facebook and all that stuff as well. Check the comment section below, and we'll see you soon.
Webcasts.
Webcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do need to go for that, to be fair. That's a much better name for him.
I think if we're going to film like this,
Webcast.
it should be webcast.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Until we've put right now.
Webcast, because I keep saying webcast because he's bloody...
Because I'm saying it properly.
Because you're doing it with a stupid accent.
There's no R in cast.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Webcast.
Webcast.
I'm proper British. Webcast.
Proper English, bruv. Webcast.
Proper.
There's no
English.
E in more. There's no R in cast. Cast.
It's the one thing. Fucking. I'm not going to get into it now. But yeah,
Why?
Do it, Chris.
no, it's just English people have a fucking tendency to put R's where R's don't fucking exist.
Like Bath.
Like Bath, yeah.
And F as well. Bath.
Like you fucking came up with the language and you can't even fucking pronounce it.
I didn't. Thank you very much.
No, I know you
Nick,
didn't.
why
I've seen
didn't you do this? Why?
I've seen you use the English language. I know you don't use it. But like this is the thing. Like English people invent a language and then find any excuse they can to not say it properly and just go, well, that's how the English say it.